Hello, in this video I want to show you why it is so important to reverse into caps. The video itself, the battle wasn't too surprising, but it started with the lineup. So at first I checked what am I facing, and I see I'm facing an Alaska, that's the only radar, but 4 DDs, and 2 of them are gearings. All of their ships have better concealment than I, and the gearings might even have the legendary module, so a far better concealment than I. I start the game. Now I check the minimap, and I see destroyers on both sides. So it doesn't make any sense for me to push left or right, and I hate giving up caps completely. So I cautiously push forward while checking the other ships, and at that time probably it was when I opened the matchmaking monitor. Now the matchmaking monitor is a very helpful tool, but also a dangerous tool. On one side it shows you who is dangerous on the other team. If you face a tier 10 cruiser with 130k average damage, you know that this guy you want to be careful of especially, or take out as first. And on the other side, it also might give you a false sense of your security if you face an enemy ship that has an extremely low average damage, that you don't take him serious enough. And that has happened to me. I've done the mistake of not taking opponents seriously enough after seeing their results on matchmaking monitor, while ignoring the fact that they still have a ship that can shoot and torpedo. And if you face a superior, a very good player, you might want to take him out, but that on the other hand might entice you to take risks. Now, seeing that the ships go left and right, I wonder what I'm doing, and I decided I'm going to reverse in no matter what, because all of them have better concealment. I see the Alaska. The Alaska is 14.7 kilometers, so I'm safely out of her radar range, which means in worst case I can smoke up and nobody can spot me inside. I'm stopping here well outside the cap because I want to reverse in and not turn inside. And I see, as we see here, I am located throughout the battle from the beginning. This means that I am the closest to an enemy destroyer, very likely at least, and which was likely of course, but which made me expect that one of the better ones might coming towards the middle. And the matchmaking monitor had showed me that the 2 gearings were in fact not to be taken lightly. Now, this moment we see, how does it work? Can I switch? Oh yeah, so this way I can see. This moment I see that the Yu Yang is spotted, so I know that on the other side is the Yu Yang. A is still capping, but something capped B. And as we see, I reverse in and I show a sharp angle. And here I make the mistake, what I hate about the Grozovoi, that it has the keys different. I first hit Z for me, or Z, because it's usually the speed boost key, and that almost made me eat a torpedo. I really, it didn't really take much for me to miss that. I saw the second salvo, so it confirmed to me 5 torpedoes, very likely a gearing. And I've seen my mod shows me here that the Shimakaze had 6.4 kilometer torpedoes, so he has the 8 kilometer torpedoes with torpedo acceleration, and those torpedoes were too slow for that. And now we would see it's too long of a range. So I turn broadside to shoot my torpedoes where I expect them to be, and the moment I see them I open fire, and we see I'm doing really good damage, but very shortly afterwards the second one opens up, so I immediately smoke up. I can trade with 1 gearing and I can win because I have heals and he doesn't, but with 2 it's just suicide, especially when I expect the rest of their team to help them maybe too. Now, my torpedoes are on their way, and we see they found their mark. I have no idea whether it would have been enough without the shots, but probably not. So the 5k or something I did on him with gunfire was enough to weaken him enough that the torpedo could take him out. I'm not planning to go back into B here, and I see the Yu Yang coming out and being pretty low on HP, and I'm confident that I've increased the distance to such a degree that I am able to kite away should the gearing open up on me, but as we've seen, he doesn't, and here unfortunately I don't get him, but my team gets him. So at this moment I was able to open fire because everyone we see on the minimap here was far away. The only two who had a realistic chance of shooting at me were the Gearing and the Yu Yang. Yu Yang is now after the castrating nerf, it's a very weak gunboat, and the other Gearing on this distance wasn't dangerous. So I'm still checking here. Now I see both sides. We've got those two caps. The Yu Yang is taken out, one Gearing is taken out, and the Shima is gone too. So all I'm facing now on DD side is that one Gearing, and here is even coming the Daring in to the middle as well though. So despite my smoke being down, there's no reason at all not to go back into B and cap it. Now I use the Gearing, the Grozovoi with both Concealment Expert and AFT. Because of the slow shell, the fast shells and the low arcs, it's pretty easy to hit at long range. And this is what I'm doing here. I'm opening up on the Musashi. I know the distance is so great that somebody can shoot me, yes, and I might be hit, but it's very unlikely that I get devastated too fast. I mean, they're all so far away, and the Musashi is a horrible dispersion. And I think I checked, and the turrets didn't even look at me. So here I got my first fire. From this distance, it's very confident, very easy to hit her, and the good fire chance means that I usually have a chance of setting them fire. But here my luck strikes. Of course, he insta-repairs the first fire, and at least for now I'm not able to set another fire. Let's see. The Daring and me have now capped. The Gearing is still nowhere to be seen. We've seen torpedoes coming up from this side, but they indicated the Gearing probably moving up here. And this way, now I'm turning to the right, to the east, because I want to increase the distance towards the Alaska. And there's finally another fire. Here comes the Zao. Now I'm turning that in because I want to continue shooting the Musashi, but I know that the Zao has very frightening guns. The alpha damage he can do on me is just horrible, and if he hits me with a full salvo, I can easily lose 6k or something, and he can easily hit me if he's a decent player. So I held my fire, and I decided to move away, and here we've seen now I'm only using my heal because I'm using a mod here that shows me what my heal can heal and what the damage allows to be healed, and I guess that's my German nature, that I want to be frugal and efficient with the consumables, so I'm saving them, but at this point I knew that I took some damage and it has a cooldown, and I want the next heal to be ready, and the game is progressing fast. So yeah. The Zao eats a torp. Unfortunately just one, he turned in time. But now he's moving away and the Alaska is up there, so I decide let's see whether we can do some more damage. He vanishes in the island. Then we get a thermofire. Unfortunately not mine. But I do a little more damage. And now he's away. And I know that the Alaska is in front of me. The Alaska, I think, was one of the better players as well, according to the matchmaking monitor. I can't really remember. So I knew that I need to take him seriously. And here I thought, what am I going to do? Or should I go over here, where the Gearing is? Face the Zao in a storm? Not really. Could farm the Musashi, but at this point I saw that the game is basically won, so I wanted to do some more damage. So at this moment I decide, as you see, I check around, try to see the positions. At this moment I decide I'm going to go for the Alaska to take him out. I wanted to rush him. His alpha damage is high, but it's not that high that I can't survive it with my heal ready and 19k HP. At first I wanted to go on the left side, and then I thought, no, if when I get spotted at that moment, those two will have shots on me, it's better to go on the other side. At this time I check with the torpedo indicator and see that he's reversing. Now we are about to see a probably bigger mistake of me. Now here I'm getting radared. He had the smell that something might be closing in and hits his radar. And at this moment I decided it doesn't really make sense to push in. He'll show me his turrets, and I wanted to, he'll face his turrets towards me, and I wanted to surprise him. Maybe I should have just pushed through, because as said, I didn't think I should have been able to eat one salvo of him without getting killed. But on the other hand, if he shows a sharp angle towards me, I might not hit enough torpedoes to do enough damage. So at this moment I decide, let's wait it out. Let's wait the radar out and try to farm the peak a little bit in between. And here I'm smoking up because I realized his radar is down. Now I switch to a peak. This shows me his broadside. He hits really nicely, but we see the damage he does is not too impressive. And here I make the complete mistake by even launching the second salvo. If he had moved back, continued backwards, which he didn't, then one salvo would have been more than enough. So there was no need to shoot a second salvo, and we see this way I'm losing both torpedoes, both loads, and I can't do any more I can't really do any more damage. I'm opening up here in the Hindenburg now, but the game is about to end. And if I hadn't shot the second salvo, I might have just rushed in and killed the Alaska nonetheless. So while the damage wasn't impressive, I think initially it showed how important it is to reverse in. Without reversing in, I wouldn't have been able to dodge the initial torpedo salvo, which was shot after my RPF signature. And then I would have charged into two enemy DDs that could have overwhelmed me, where I had to turn or slow down and smoke up while I'm getting shot. Whereas this way all I needed to do is hit the T key and then hit the W key to rush out again. The damage itself, as said, wasn't too impressive, but it was at least half of one DD and the complete HP of another DD, and that of course helped me reach the #1 score in this game. So while the gameplay itself might not be too impressive, I think it highlights very well why it is so important to reverse in, and that was what I wanted to show you in this video. So thank you for your attention. Until next time.